In this video, you'll learn the 12 skills and habits that rich and successful people have that have made them successful, and you can start practicing right away. I recommend to take a piece of paper while watching this video and honestly rate yourself in these categories from 1 to 5, 1 being bad at it and 5 being excellent at it. So here are the 12 skills and habits that rich and successful people have. Number 1. Reading. We've all heard that the average CEO reads 50 books a year, while the average person barely reads 1. But there's a reason for it. If you want to expand your mindset and your knowledge, read a book. Imagine learning 30 years of knowledge in just a couple of hours. Books give you the ability to consume years of information someone else learned in a format that you can consume in hours. Think about it. The reason why we have extraordinary advances in technology or medicine or even business is because we are able to read what took someone 30 years to learn in a few hours, and then we can improve on it. The reason why we have airplanes, supercars, and iPhones is because someone took the knowledge of someone else and improved on it. Imagine what this can do for your business or your life. Simply learning the mindset of very successful people can take your life to a whole new level. Think about it. Building a business or a life without learning the knowledge of what makes it successful is like performing heart surgery without any medical knowledge. You wouldn't be able to build a skyscraper without learning architecture. Same with your business. To build a successful business or a great life, we must learn how other people have done it successfully so we can replicate and improve on it. Number 2. Discipline. This is a big one because our brains do not like to be taken out of their comfort zone. But discipline means to put our goals in front of our conditions or even the way we feel, and every day act in accordance to your goal. If you want to build a successful business, that means getting up every morning and putting yourself in front of your customers or your audience. If you want to get in shape, it means to hit the gym and eat healthy every day, even though sometimes you might not feel like it. Discipline is doing the things that will get you to your goals before anything else, even if that means sacrificing short-term pleasure. Now, one of the main reasons why people don't have the energy to get disciplined is because there's no clear path or goal to where they're going. It is difficult to be disciplined when you have no direction. In order to build discipline, first, it is important to define what do you want to do and why. Defining the reason why you want to do something will bring a sense of purpose to your goal. Second, looking at the most important actions you need to take to get there will make your life much easier because you won't be overwhelmed with everything that you need to do because you will be focusing most of your energy on the most important tasks. So prioritizing your tasks is a key ingredient for discipline. Third, eliminate distractions. Just like when you are trying to eat healthy, you get rid of the unhealthy foods in your house to avoid temptation. A key part of being disciplined is to avoid those things that get you distracted. Fourth, keeping yourself accountable. It is easy to get derailed when we are on our own, and we have no one to respond to. But when other people are involved and counting on you, you tend to just go and do it. And fifth, keep track of your progress. Checking back and seeing how you're moving forward will keep you motivated to achieve your goals and helps you adjust your behaviors according to how well you're doing. If you've never attempted to apply discipline before, you can always start with small things like waking up at the same time or taking a walk in the morning every day. And if you try it for at least 21 days, you might be able to build a habit. Something interesting that happens when you start building even a small amount of structure in your life is that it becomes more natural for you to build structure with everything else in your life. Number 3. Patience. Many people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 5 or 10 years. See, successful people are willing to work hard today to reach their goals in 5 or 10 years. Many people want to hit their goals overnight, but if you have big goals, they will probably take some time. Entrepreneur Gary Vaynerchuk calls this micro speed and macro patience. You go hard every day, but you are patient enough to actually achieve amazing results in the long run. To build something great, it might take 5, 10, 15 years or more, and we must develop the patience to work hard every day while understanding that the big goals might take a little while. I know that this is something that many people don't want to hear, but like entrepreneur John Damon says, what most people think is an overnight success took 15 years of work to get there. This channel, for example, took 9 months of work before earning its first $100. And 2 years later, we're not even close to what we will do in the next 5. But we are still putting in the work every day to give you guys the best content to help you in your journey. Number 4. Self-motivation. Something that virtually every entrepreneur goes through is having people doubt their ability to accomplish their massive goals. And there's even times that even we get overwhelmed with our massive goals. That is why self-motivation is so important. Self-motivation means looking for reasons why we need to accomplish our goals, finding purpose behind our mission, and finding the energy to keep going. Because there's always people telling you you can't do something, but it's up to you to make the decision whether you can or can't. Many of us have felt both sides of the coin. We feel motivated and unmotivated. Sometimes we don't even want to wake up in the morning, and sometimes we wake up extra early because we are excited about what we do. See, successful people build this skill to create motivation within themselves. Something that is very useful to create motivation is to think about how you want to be remembered. What will be your legacy? Think about the people closest to you, whether it's your parents or your children. What type of life do you want to give them? What type of life do you want for yourself? Thinking about your end goal can help you boost your motivation to accomplish your goals. Number 5. Persuasion and influence. Think about a successful entrepreneur. Think about how they became successful. Rich and successful people focus on being influential to get people to follow them and convert to their ideas. They try to understand the other person's perspective in order to be able to inspire them to take action. Persuasion is one of those skills that will apply to any area of your life, especially in business. From inspiring your team to inspire your customers to buy from you. The ability to influence is an invaluable skill to have. Number 6. Sales. Just like being influential, a business cannot grow if there is no sales. If you ask any successful entrepreneur how to grow a business, they will tell you, grow your sales. Sales is the heart of every business. Before you start thinking about building a team and how to manage employees, you must learn to get people to give you money for a product or a service. Something that many people don't think about is that the skill of sales doesn't just apply to your business, but to your life. Whenever you're interacting with people, you're selling how awesome you are as a person. Whenever you're on a date with a beautiful woman or a handsome man, you're selling how valuable you are as a potential date. Whenever you're trying to get your kids to do something for you, you are using sales. Sales is one of those skills that give you a great advantage on any situation because you have this skill that make people say yes. This is especially powerful because sales is a skill that many people refuse to learn. Number 7. Marketing. If sales is closing the deal, marketing is getting people in the front door. Something that is just as important as sales is marketing. This skill alone has made people very rich, especially in today's world. With the internet, you don't even need to have a business or a product to make money. If you know how to market, businesses will be more than willing to share their revenues with you. Now, if you want to learn how to do that, click on the link below to have me and one of my millionaire mentors show you how to do that. Number 8. The ability to focus. One of the biggest struggles many people have, not just entrepreneurs, and one of the main reasons why we don't accomplish as much as we could is our inability to direct our focus. Many of us get distracted very easily, which makes us very ineffective. The way we use our attention makes a difference between living a life of work with little results or a life with big returns on our efforts. If you look at rich and successful people like Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, they consider the allocation of their focus as a priority so much that they even refuse to spend time thinking about what they wear. That would just take attention away from what really matters. If you pay attention to Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, you'll notice that he wears the same thing every single day. So if we want to maximize our results and effectiveness, we must control where we direct our focus. Number 9. Focusing on the long term. Think about your life. Is your life a series of short-term pleasures that lead nowhere or a series of projects for the long term? This simple question can predict how successful you will be in the future. See, it's easy to focus on short-term pleasures or even short-term paychecks that will have no benefit to you in the long run. Imagine looking for short-term paychecks. Let's say that you take on a project this month and you make a lot of money. But then you party your heart out and spend all of your money on a new car, new shoes, and a trip to Vegas. And you end up in the same position as you were before. Take a look at unsuccessful people. Notice how they do things for the short term. They go from job to job, from business to business, and never stick to something for the long term. One of the biggest traits millionaires have in common is committing to create wealth even if that means to sacrifice a few things right in the present moment. Like entrepreneur Grant Cardone says, pay the price today so you can pay any price tomorrow. Most people look for quick fixes in their life instead of putting in the work. Think about how much money Americans have spent in lottery tickets. I'll give you a hint. It's almost the net worth of Bill Gates. Number 10. Managing their money. The amount of money you make has less to do when it comes to being a millionaire than the way you manage what you have. See, the reason why most millionaires become millionaires is because they manage their money well. Think about it. If you make $20,000 a month and spend $23,000, you are no way close to being a millionaire. You have more chances to being a millionaire if you make $5,000 a month and only spend $2,000 and use the rest of the money to increase your cash flow every month. In one of the biggest surveys in America looking at millionaires, found that the majority of millionaires live way below their means. If you look at a millionaire in the streets, you wouldn't even know they got millions in the bank. They do live a very good life, but they use most of their spare cash to keep increasing their income and make even more money. They consider being financially free much more important than impressing people with a brand new BMW. Now, if you look at rich people with supercars, it's because they've already spent years being rich and they finally feel comfortable with their cash flow to buy an expensive car. Not only that, many of them use their cars as a marketing tool that actually makes them more money and can even use them as a deduction in their taxes. Number 11. The ability to adapt to change. See, one of the biggest skills that defines an entrepreneur is their ability to adapt to change. A successful entrepreneur needs to respond to the changes in the market in real time. If the technology changes, we must change with it. If our demographics change, we must adapt to it. If society changes, we must change our approach as well. Think about the massive companies that saw their empires fall just because they didn't adapt to the internet. Blockbuster passed on the opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million. Think about that. Blockbuster went bankrupt in 2010 and Netflix is worth $61 billion. Or Amazon, which was one of the first companies to spend most of their advertising budget on Google ads. The Wish app grew just by using Facebook advertising. The ability to adapt to change is one of the skills that can either keep you relevant and growing for the long term or becoming the next Blockbuster. Number 12. Surround themselves with other successful people. This is something that doesn't get as much credit as it should. Being around successful people who are hungry and do not accept mediocrity will have a very interesting impact on you. When you surround yourself with people like this will become your normal. We live in a world surrounded by mediocrity, and sadly, that becomes the normal for a lot of people. But being around people who have an amazing level of energy and do not accept mediocrity will create a new normal. And then, you won't tolerate mediocrity either. Alright guys, keep hustling, keep dominating, and I will see you in the next video.